My name is Susan. I am the mother of a single-parent family of 4 people. The oldest child is Liam. He's 12 years old. Liam has high-functioning autism. He's in grade 7 in the autism class in the Toronto School Board. Kaya is 10. Kaya has ADHD. She's also gifted and goes to the gifted program in the Toronto School Board. And then there's Phoenix. Phoenix is 2. Phoenix also has autism. And that's us. That's all of us. I think the hardest part about having 2 boys with autism, especially it being just me with them, is that I often have to basically triage their needs, right? So I can't be everywhere all the time. I can't deal with every situation all the time. And sometimes I have to pick whose needs are bigger, who's more upset, who's having the bigger meltdown, and I have to go with it, right? So I think sometimes the feeling of being outnumbered, the feeling of being overwhelmed, I think sometimes it puts a lot of pressure on Kaya, because I'll be like, Kaya, deal with the little guy, or Kaya, go talk to Liam. And sometimes Kaya ends up running around like mommy junior, or like a little behavior therapist, right? Trying to keep the boys busy and happy, or helping Liam if he can't find something that he's lost, which can be very upsetting. I might be in the middle of doing something with Phoenix or trying to calm him down, and then Liam might not be able to find something, or he may need some help, and I'll often have to send in kind of Kaya as reinforcement. So I guess the biggest thing is, you know, it's kind of a life of triage, right? We basically are, sometimes I call it the traveling circus. We're a commotion. Everywhere we go, noise follows us, chaos follows us, and we are definitely tend to be the center of attention wherever we are. Autism is an invisible disability. So when people look at the boys, they don't see immediately autism. Sometimes people will scold the children, especially Liam, if he's behaving in an unusual way, or Phoenix tends to have meltdowns frequently. And people who scold them, even if it's something so small as, why are you acting that way? You should be nice to your mommy, will get them very, very, very upset. They react very differently. Phoenix might scream or try to bang his head or try to get away or throw things. And of course, all of this is often on a very busy bus, because that's when it tends to happen the most, or in a busy place, or in line at the grocery store is a really hard one. Liam will often respond with frustration and anger. He gets very offended. He feels very judged. He doesn't appreciate when people judge him. He's 12 years old. He has a pretty strong sense of himself. I'm working very hard to teach Liam self-advocacy so that he can step in and say, excuse me, I have autism. You need to act this way towards me. You need to not talk to me, or you need to not touch me. With Phoenix, again, it's a little bit harder. He doesn't react with anger the way Liam does, but he'll react in fear to the people, especially if he's having a rough day or if we're in a very crowded bus. And he'll start throwing things or screaming or banging his head. It's often been suggested to me that I put a sign on the stroller that says, autistic child, please be kind. I plan to. There's really some pretty spectacular moments that I get to witness having these 2 boys with autism in my life. They can do some really amazing things. Besides the fact that I get to see them every day accomplish the little things that I know are so much more work for them, and that I know that they've put so much effort into doing and have to work so hard to do, they can also do some pretty extraordinary things. Liam is able to tell you pretty much any kid's movie, when it was released, the day, the year, the producer, director, all of it, and who voiced what characters. He's got a really, really fantastic memory. His brain's a little bit like a filing cabinet where things go and they get filed, and he always knows exactly where they are. It's probably the most organized thing about him. Phoenix is a really interesting little person. His first word was the number 2. I discovered well before he was 2 years old that he could count over 100. He could recognize all of his numbers. He can tell time. At 1 year of age, he was organizing numbers into the correct order. He was starting to sort and group and show some early math skills. He still has a real passion for numbers. He knows his numbers up to 1,000 easily. On top of that, when he was 24 months old, my mother figured out that he could read. So she had written the word red on a piece of paper, and he looked at it and he said red. And So she wrote all the other colors, and at 24 months old, he could show all the colors, and not just could he read and recite them, but he could read and understand them. Mentoring other parents of children with autism is something that is very important to me. Getting a diagnosis of autism is absolutely life-changing. The first piece of advice is always for the parent, for themselves. I would say, don't forget that you're allowed to grieve. The life that you pictured and you imagined for yourself and for your child, it's gone. Your child is still alive. Your child is still the child that you had when you walked in that room and got that diagnosis. But at the same time, your life is different and it's changed, and you need to grieve what you've lost. Take your time, allow yourself to feel it, allow yourself to really experience those emotions, because grief evolves and grief becomes acceptance and it becomes determination. And next thing you know, you've discovered that you're embracing your new life and beginning to touch other people's lives. Taking care of myself. Taking care of myself is definitely something that I'm learning to do. In no way am I a pro at that right now. You know, I meet my basic hygiene needs every day, but learning to sometimes prioritize myself, learning to sometimes do things for myself is something I often have to push myself to do. Social life is hard because a lot of people really don't understand the challenges of maintaining these three and maintaining a social life. Sometimes if I make plans to go out to a movie in the evening, by the time it's time to go, I'm already exhausted from the day. So I've learned to do little things for me, whether it be to send the 3 kids to grandma's for one night and not actually go out and do anything, but maybe bake a batch of cookies or watch a whole movie from the start to the finish, is a big treat for me. I try to make sure that I spend some time with Kaya. We do girl things together. We might go to movies, go out to lunch, go get our nails done, something like that. Send the boys to grandma's for an afternoon, or every once in a while, I might give her a day off school so that we can do something while they're at school and daycare. Kaya is part of a program called the Young Carers Program through Hospice Toronto, which has been a really life-changing program for her. It's designed for children who are in a caregiving role of any kind. I try to teach Kaya, and she takes to it very naturally, to get the same kind of joy I do out of reaching out to other kids and other families and doing some advocacy work. She's on the Children's Advisory Committee at Holland Bloorview. People need to understand that we can't be spontaneous, that you can't just call me up in the morning and be like, hey, let's all go out and go to the zoo today. Spontaneity is not part of our lifestyle. It's not something we can do. And those who really understand us will take the time to make plans, to plan ahead with us, and also to realize that they may have to be the flexible one in this situation, that I may have to stop in the middle of anything at any time and deal with whatever happens to come up, whether it be Liam needs a paper bust printed right now, or he's gonna lose it, or Phoenix is hangry and he needs to be fed, so he'll stop screaming. Whatever happens, that jumps up, again, I talk about the triage, that jumps up to being priority number 1. One thing that really changed as I became the parent of 1 and then 2 children with autism, and then became a single parent of 2 children with autism, was the friendships in my life. The first thing that I found was that the friendships definitely tended to gravitate towards other parents of children with special needs. We understand each other. We can share our challenges without feeling like we're overwhelming each other. You know, sometimes if I'm with a friend who doesn't have a child with special needs and I'm trying to tell them about my life day to day, they might feel overwhelmed by that, or they'll feel bad for me. The last thing I want is my friends to feel bad for me. My life is my life and I embrace it.